Well, it's another day, and it's been a while since I've addressed rural America, so listen up. I've got things to say to you. It pains me to see America transform into kind of the beast that it has become. And rural America, especially, has just become kind of a desolate wasteland of meanness. The fact that you can drive through the Midwest and find a place called Liberty, which just looks like a place that Freedom went to die of an overdose in an Arby's bathroom, really goes to show the state of this nation. But the kind of meanness that I've seen and heard on social media over the past couple weeks as the whole EBT thing has happened has really kind of stuck in my craw. And honestly, I found essentially the perfect rant to really elevate in the situation and platform. And you guys should have a look because he absolutely goes off.
You know something, y'all? I'm sick of the welfare situation in America, and I'm sick of having people talk about it. Stay tuned. Okay, so since you motherfuckers have been talking about welfare queens and all this other stuff, and y'all and handouts and all of this shit, okay, let's do this. Somebody needs to put forward a bill to where each state is responsible for its own citizens. Completely. Responsible for their Medicaid, responsible for their health care, and responsible for their fucking EBT and other government benefits. You hear that, Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, and Texas? Y'all hear me? Y'all gonna pay for y'all own shit today. Because we sick of this shit. You guys have been running on this platform of stopping the welfare queens and ending the handouts and the corruption and the government and all that stuff when you motherfuckers benefit from this shit the most. Okay? There are more people in red states on welfare and public benefits than all of the states in the country. You fucking guys. The same people that are complaining about it. The same people who work some basic ass fucking job scooping donkey shit up at the zoo and what do you call it, working at a local gas station in your little podunk town talking about, I don't want my tax dollars going to feed those goddamn hungry nigger children. Yeah, okay. Your tax dollars couldn't pay for a ham sandwich, dude. Okay? Because you pay $37 out of your federal taxes. $37 for EBT.
Absolutely got a point. If the average person in America pays $37 just for EBT, then your point is just smug meanness, a kind of flawed character that really shows the quality of the individual in rural communities. Now, listen, I will call myself a rural person. I will call myself a child of Appalachia. I really will. But with that said, there's really two segments of society in the rural communities. You have, the people who are actually aware of the history, and anyone who's a Republican, anyone who's pro-corporation, pro-billionaire who claims to be from Appalachia, man, you really just don't know your history. To support the corporation, to support those who've been sucking the resources and money from your regions and just leaving empty husk of towns all throughout your states, for you to go and support those people, it really spits in the face of all the hardship that your ancestors went through. But hey, at least you got to own the libs, right? That's what it's all about. Well, at the same time, a lot of you states, over 25% of the population is on these same benefits. 25%.
That's what the average person in America pays. 37. Y'all are on here defending these fucking politicians that are eating in your face and throwing galas after they fucking shut off the food stamps. And you're agreeing with them, making this stink and going back and forth online with people over $37 fucking dollars. But you real quiet about the $830 you fucking spend giving rich companies welfare. Yes, that's right. People like Zuckerberg and fucking Musk and Peter Thiel and all of these other people. Now, these people have government contracts. So listen, I'm not talking about the money that they make from government contracts. No. We're not talking about that. That's money earned. I'm talking about the subsidies, the money that the government gives them. Elon Musk has gotten at least $100 billion in government subsidies in the last 10 years. Okay? But they don't want to give you free healthcare. We pour money into companies and rich people all the fucking time. And again, you pay $800 and something out of your taxes to fund corporate welfare, but you bitch about $37 worth of fucking EBT. Because, oh, what if an alien is getting? You want to shut the whole country's fucking food stamps off because 1% of the population might be getting more than what they deserve?
I think that's one of the wild things that we've seen, right, over this whole situation with food stamps, with EBT, with SNAP. Even though people know that it's less than 1% really that are committing fraud when it comes to getting these things. And in the end, I say I don't really care. I just want people to eat. We waste so much food in this country. If 40% of food that goes to the store gets thrown out the back, listen, I don't care who gets it. I don't care what they spend it on. People get irate about people who are on these programs getting a bag of Chips Ahoy or Oreos. So be it. Maybe if you're in the position where you're on food stamps, you genuinely need it, maybe you need an Oreo every now and then. It's not like they're going out and getting a box of wine and having Tour de Franzia in the back of the trailer. That's not what they're doing. Maybe some people are. And hey, like I said, so be it. You don't punish 99 people who actually need something just because one person's an asshole. You don't do that. The people who do that, they're assholes. And they should be treated like that. They should be treated with the same kind of disdain that they show the rest of the world. Because in the end, it's just a lot of these people are just very unhappy people. Their towns have nothing. They have no business. They have no economy. People get out of high school and just cannot wait to leave the town. The towns are dying. And I mean that literally, because the average age in a lot of these places, like 60, 70 years old, because there's no jobs for young people. So they immediately leave to the cities. And if you have a kid and they leave to the city, and guess what? Maybe they get laid off because the person that you vote for has ruined the economy. Don't you hope that they just might have access to, I don't know, food? Isn't that something that you'd hope that they'd want? Americans at this point, especially rural America, as secluded as they are, do not have the ability to have empathy, to put themselves in the shoes of another person and try to see life through their eyes. And it's just simply because meanness, envy, and a whole bunch of small dick energy. All that it is.
Are you stupid? And if you're blessed enough to be able to work a fucking job like I am and not have to live on food stamps, you should be fucking humble and grateful that that's not your situation. Instead of, I don't want my tax dollars. Shut the fuck up, bro. Y'all sound stupid. Every time y'all open y'all mouth, y'all sound dumb as shit. We need to do away with the interstate welfare. That's it. Cut it the fuck off. Since y'all don't want to pay for nobody else, boom. Okay. Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, y'all go ahead and fund yourself. Okay? We won't ask y'all for a damn. Y'all can let every dollar of taxes stay in y'all states. Y'all don't have to pay for shit. But guess what? If a natural disaster come through that motherfucker and lift it up like a paper bag and toss it somewhere, don't ask for no benefits. Yep. No, what do you call that? FEMA or none of that bullshit. Don't ask for anything because y'all help these politicians get in office that don't do nothing. They don't serve nobody but they selves. Okay. And they've been playing the same dumbass trick on y'all for the last 40 years. Do y'all think it's any surprise that y'all are dead last in education? Places like Oklahoma and Mississippi are 49 and 50 out of fucking education. Is that surprising to anybody? That y'all have stupid fucking politicians that continue to pull the wool over y'all eyes and y'all are uneducated at the same time. It all makes sense, right? It all makes sense now. We're sick of this. You guys and your politics are ruining the country because you'd rather take money and give it to people who already have it than to help starving people because you are fucking racist. Okay? Y'all already have and control and own everything. And y'all don't want anybody to have anything. Okay? This is the reason why we can't get any peace here. Because until there's justice for all, there will be justice for none. Y'all gotta understand that. Until y'all right the wrongs of the past, we are going to continue to go through this same shit. And y'all gonna keep trying to find another way around it. Some slick ass politician is gonna get up and say some shit that you agree with. You're gonna get all excited and jovial and shit about what he says he's gonna do, even though the 40 fucking politicians that came before him sold you a dream that never amounted to anything. But here you are. So, yes, they need to put a bill forward immediately when the Democrats retake the House to end interstate welfare. And we'll see how happy you motherfuckers is when you have to learn how to grow your own food again.
Exquisite. I know a lot of you are going to take umbrage with the fact that he said, a lot of this is based on racism, but let's be completely honest here. Anyone who's been on the internet during this entire thing that's been happening, what have you seen really? How are they framing, right? How are they portraying those who are on welfare, those who are on EBT? You know exactly what I'm talking about. I know you do. So yeah, it's a justified statement. We all know that it is. Listen, as a true rural person, Appalachian person, my solidarity will always be with the people, no matter what color or stripe they come from. It will never be for the corporations or politicians that hope to take everything from us. It just will never be, and it never should be. And if you find yourself being from a small podunk town in the middle of nowhere, supporting a carpetbagger from New York, you have lost your way, my friend. And like I said, I love rural towns, and I love Appalachia. Excuse me while I absolutely go in for the next few minutes, okay? Okay, so my big problem with the Crocs-wearing, camouflage-clad idiots who are always wandering around Walmart, speaking their mind on social media, is the absolute failure to have any kind of self-awareness in the situation. These people are the loudest people in the room right now who are screaming about food stamps. Well, the coloreds up in Chicago, they're eating a lot of lobster, and that's my tax dollars are paying for that lobster. Buddy, you live in a small town where your cousin is the sheriff, the judge, and the town whore. Calm down. You are the biggest welfare queens in the history of government cheese. The reddest counties in the country, right? The ones, they fly the flag so hard it's basically a cry for help. They're the ones who are sucking on the government teat so hard, like they're just trying to get that last ounce of milk from their dying mother's breast. In West Virginia, 1 in 4 people are on SNAP. Mississippi and Kentucky are the exact same. They'll fight you if you try to take their EBT card, but at the same time, they're going to fight you if you say that Obama was born in America. So Cletus, you just got to pick a fucking lane. These people will look you dead in the eye with a cigarette dangling from their lip, right? Oxygen tank hissing, and they'll scream at you. I mean, red in the face scream at you. I built this country! You haven't built a thing. The last thing that you built was 30 years ago when your body actually worked. You built a shed, it collapsed, and killed your dog. The country was built by slaves and immigrants that your ancestors lost a war just to be able to keep them as slaves. So relax a little bit. Every 4 years, they drag their 400-pound diabetic asses to the voting booth just to vote for some kind of corporate ghoul who promised to do away with welfare as they knew it. Yeah, that's a great plan. Vote for the guy who has never seen a vegetable that wasn't deep fried, who's promising that he's going to cut welfare and see how that works out. You cut EBT in some of these places, and they're going to start eating the Trump flag that they had tattooed on their neck, because that's going to be the only food that they have access to. Make cannibalism great again. You guys fall for it every time, and it doesn't really, and it's always the same states, and it is interesting that these states happen to have the worst education in the entire country, right? And a lot of you are going to say, well, we're just not brainwashed by the education system. No, it's called math, and you just haven't figured it out yet. But they're formulas. They're easy. You just got to remember the formulas. You guys fall for it every time. And that's why it's done every 4 years. And that's why the politicians are, they love the social media, because it made your attention span so shit that you don't remember what happened 4 years. You don't remember the promises and how they failed to keep them, or those promises that they made that you knew were going to destroy your town, they actually did, and now you want some more of that because you're all just a bunch of masochists. You're like, he tells it like it is. No, he tells you exactly what you want to hear. He tells you that while at the same time, he's reaching into your back pocket and taking your wallet to pay for a steak that he's going to get at Mar-a-Lago. You're not the forgotten man in America. You're just a mark in the long con. And you've been conned again and again and again. But the thing is, they're squeezing that grape for juice, but there just isn't much juice left. Right? There's not much to take. I mean, they've taken all the jobs away, right? All these promises to reindustrialize the country. How's that working out? How's that working out in Burlington, Iowa? Now that CHN, some kind of tractor factory, now that they're shutting down. In that town of 23,000, you start taking away 500 jobs from people. That's 500 households that don't have any kind of income coming in. And then right now, there's not much jobs that people can do. And these are places that voted overwhelmingly for this shit. And you guys are proud of it. That's probably one of the most hilarious things. You're like, well, I earned my disability check. I fell off of a roof. Like, they've turned hypocrisy into personality at this point. And it's funny to watch, but at the same time, it's terrifying because it's significant voting base in America right now. But think about, instead of being proud because, you busted your ass being blue collar and then you got drunk and climbed up on the roof, congratulations that you're the only person who actually filed for disability because you got in a fight with a drone. These politicians figured it out decades ago, and they're still running with the same game plan because it works every time. They're going to tell Bubba, not that Bubba, they're going to tell Bubba that the problem isn't actually the corporations that are consolidating all the land in their area and shutting down the farming jobs. Safety regulations are being cut in mining towns, and now you have people in their 30s getting black lung, something that usually didn't happen until people were in their 40s or 50s. But no, the problem is a Guatemalan grandmother in the Bronx who's buying some Cheerios. And that person would rather cut his throat than vote for that box of cereal to go to that Guatemalan grandma. If we had another rally, and even though, thank God, welfare is not getting shut down, SNAP's not going away anytime soon, it's getting refunded. This is a great thing. But if Trump were to go on one of his rallies, go up on stage tomorrow and say, we're getting rid of welfare, people would scream so loud in agreement that their oxygen tanks would explode. They'd go home and open the fridge and realize there's nothing in there but mayonnaise and a gun. And they'd spend the next 8 hours crying themselves to sleep on the mattress that's been on the front yard since 2008. And don't give me this shit about city people being lazy, because they're not. City people work like 10 jobs just to survive. You know who is lazy? The person who hasn't had a job since 1987 when the coal mine closed down and has spent the last 35 years telling everyone in the town, don't worry, it's going to be coming back one day. Well, it's not coming back. The only thing that's coming back is your liver panel, and it's worse than it was last time. The only thing that rural America actually puts out now is content. TikTok content, YouTube videos, how to make sourdough bread, how to discipline your children, just people blowing up refrigerators with tannerite. I mean, exciting stuff like that. That's the rural communities now. That's the GDP now, right? That and meth. Meth that's strong enough that it can wake up a Confederate statue. And the best part about this whole thing is that these are the people who say, I'm the real Americans in this country, right? My family's been here for 100 years. You live in a place where the high school football team's so small they had to forfeit because half of them are in jail and the other half knocked up their cousins. Rural communities in America right now, it's not the real America, the idea of it, right? The simulacra that we all have in our minds of rural America. That's the idea of real America. But rural America right now is just a deleted scene from Deliverance that was directed by Jerry Springer. It makes no sense. Meanwhile, in Chicago, you got a queen named Peaches who's out there using her link card to buy some sushi and then go to one of her 3 different jobs. And she's doing that just to pay for a coffin-sized apartment in the city. See, that's hustle. And that's what you're mad at. You're mad at Peaches because Peaches is showing you up. Because Peaches is out there living the American dream. As terrifying as that is. She's living the dream while you're dying from black lung or cancer from the Newports that you bought with your food stamps. Every election, you guys do it again. You crawl out of your fentanyl dens and go to the voting booth because someone says that they're going to bring manufacturing back. But what are they going to be manufacturing? Another opioid crisis? Because you guys already done cornered the market on that one, King. Elon Musk is going to turn half of West Virginia into a giant open lithium mine. And he's going to pay you guys $11 to work there. And guess what? You're going to do it. You're going to do it proudly. And you're going to be like, well, at least this isn't socialism. But buddy, listen, you've been a socialist since the day you were able to sign your name on the disability form in crayon. Let's be completely honest. Rural America isn't dying, it's dead. It is the corpse that still votes. You either leave the town as soon as you have the ability to read or you turn 18, you get out of the place, or you stay, you get knocked up at the state fair, and you decide to name your son Remington. These are really the two options at this point. These small towns are dying, and in 20 years, it's going to be a very different scene altogether, right? The aging communities in these places are laughable. And it's just essentially going to be a bunch of empty Dollar General parking lots that have ghosts riding on rascal scooters that are arguing whether the Civil War was about, slavery or states' rights. But we're just kind of waiting for the last of that kind of dying generation to just kind of choke on the last piece of chicken fried steak at the town diner. Because then we'll actually be able to admit it. We'll be able to say it out loud, that these places were never the heart of America. We never actually needed them. And especially now that all the farmland's been taken over by Bill Gates. These towns were the asshole of America. And we've been lying to ourselves, telling us that that asshole just smells like apple pie, but it doesn't. It smells like an ass. But that's all we got for today. The ladies and gents, enjoy the decline, you beautiful, idiot, messed up flag-wielding welfare kings. Keep telling people that you're just a temporarily embarrassed millionaire while you die alone at 48 years old from a heart attack in a Walmart bathroom. And those of us who want sanity in our nation, we'll play the smallest violin at your funeral. But if you're still here at this point, like and subscribe, think about becoming a member, give a donation to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure to have you here. Love talking shit on rural communities because that's where I'm from. I'm allowed to do that. And it feels good. It feels cathartic to get it out, to get the venom out. Sometimes you need to, right? Because I got to deal with you guys in my comment sections all the time, coming in there and be like, well, yeah, I just bootstrapped it. I'm like, dude, you're 70 years old. You're from a different world. You're from a world where there's actually opportunity before you guys ruined it to make it nice and to make a nice, comfortable coffin for yourselves. But anyway, that's besides the point, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a good one. Take care.